Welcome in, hockey fans. It's another episode of The Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio. We're another week into the 2022-2023 NHL season, and stuff is happening. Some teams are starting to make a name for themselves. Others are still finding their way. Vancouver. Some players are starting to make name for themselves. We've got some young rookies who have been looking good. We've got some veterans that maybe they're done playing. Maybe not just yet, though. Lots to discuss tonight, plus 10 games in action around the NHL tonight. We will do our best to keep you updated on all the scores and goals and highlights from around the league. And of course, our second edition of Studs and Duds. We'll see how we do the second go around. Buckle on and up. This is The Neutral Zone. Let's have some fun. And hello and good evening, everyone. You have found your way into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am Adam Karnick. We will hear from Zach Puplis in just a moment, but wanted to welcome you into episode 49 here of the Neutral Zone tonight. Going to have a lot of fun on the show as we bounce around and get ourselves settled back into the groove and the routine that is the NHL season. We had big buzz to start the season last week. Still some excitement, still some hype, but it is starting to feel a little bit more like we're settling into the rhythm of the season. And speaking of rhythm, we do, of course, want to bring up and do our natural rhythm as we do here on the show, and be sure to acknowledge our sponsors and everyone else here at IE Sports Radio and give everyone their due, starting, of course, with our read and thanking our Patreon supporters, first of all. Bay Area Raised, Emlos Great, Key to the Gate, and Anonymous. They support us on Patreon. You can too. If you go to our website, iesportsradio.com, you can find the link to our Patreon page. Starts at just $5 a month. That gets you a shout out on all of the shows. Then there are higher tiers. You get access to our merchandise, our podcasting university, all other great stuff. You can even get featured on your own personal segment of the defining moment with our very own Larry B. All that's on iesportsradio.com. While you're there, you can check out the blog. Mike Pat does a great job with that. You can learn some more about some of the different hosts, some of the different personalities here at IE Sports Radio. So be sure to check that out, iesportsradio.com. And with that, let's say hello to the man that you will be hearing a lot from tonight. He is Zach Puplis. Zach, how you doing tonight, my good sir?
Fantastic, sir. How are you?
Well, my Bears pulled off a ridiculous upset last night, and the Blackhawks are currently beating the Panthers 2-0. So I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I was just looking at how they were doing this season. Oh my God, they're actually They have a winning record.
The Hawks are on a 3-game winning streak after, a disastrous start in Colorado and then in Vegas. They've won 3 straight, and they're up 2-0 on Florida right now.
Nice. Including a 4-3 overtime winner versus my Red Wings.
Yes, that was the home opener on Friday even. They kicked off the home portion of the schedule with that come-from-behind overtime win against your Red Wings. That was... I'm flabbergasted by this. I have to believe a little bit looking at this, as I totally did not expect that we'd be talking about Blackhawks right out of the gate tonight, but here we are.
Right? You didn't think your team had that kind of medal in it.
No! They're above 500. They're not just hockey 500. They're above true 500. They're 3-2-0 coming into play tonight. And they're up 2-0 against Florida. And the Hawks are on their backup goalie. Peter Mrazek's hurt.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I have to even look up who's in net tonight. That's, where we're at with this team. But yeah, I am floored and shocked by this.
Yeah.
And, well, okay. He just ruined my dud list. But we'll get to that later, I guess. I'll put a little asterisk by my dud list as we get to the end of it there. As it's 2-0 Hawks, we've had goals by Tyler Radish and Patrick Kane to go up 2-0. Kane's was 20 seconds left to go in the period as well. So right at the end of the period there.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I'm floored by this. Alex Stalock is in net. 35-year-old journeyman netminder is in there. 7 shots faced, 7 shots stopped. So that's a good start for the Hawks. A good first period, if nothing else. So that's how I find myself here on this Tuesday evening as we look around. Let's start there. Let's just do a quick whirl around the NHL as we have 10 games going active tonight. My Hawks up 2-0. Unfortunately, your Red Wings are down to the suddenly red-hot New Jersey Devils. It's 4-2 New Jersey with 10 minutes left to go in the third period. We've got elsewhere. The Avalanche and the Rangers are going. Avalanche up 1-0 on that one. They are still fairly early in the second, but wow, both goalies have been busy. 49 shots combined, and we're not even halfway through that game. Nichushkin with the only goal, and that one scored on the power play. We've got the Wild are beating the Canadiens 2-1. We'll be talking about the Canadiens a bit later on. Bruins up 2-1 on the Stars. Zach, you're not going to believe this one. Arizona is obliterating Columbus. It's 5-1 Arizona.
Just see it right now. Holy crap.
Good for the Coyotes. Good for them. Let's take a look. Oh, yep. Okay, Johnny Gaudreau with the 1 tally for Columbus. I can never read his first name. Gostisbehere is the big scorer tonight for Arizona. He's got 2 goals already, so he's closing in on the hat trick. Has he got any assists?
Shane Gostisbehere.
Yes, Shane Gostisbehere. See, in the NHL app, the font is really wrong on his name. You can't read it.
Personally, I should say we've got beer here. I think that's his last name.
Yes, Gostisbehere. Yeah, it's Shane Gostisbehere, as I confirm it elsewhere.
Got beer here. There we go.
Yes, got beer here. Exactly. That part's easy. You just find the beer.
Right.
And then early in the first, the Penguins and Flames are tied at nothing. Those are all the active games going on tonight. And Taryn is in the chat keeping us busy. He's already keeping score. He's not counting that as an NFL tally since we were just doing the introduction. So we're still at 0 there for our tally, Zach, officially.
Okay. So since the Coyotes are winning, can we get a hearty Coyote howl?
Sure. I just don't want to blow up my mic here. Good for Arizona. Good for the Coyotes. They need that, you know? They need that.
Whenever they're doing well, we'll do that. And whenever they're doing crappy, we'll do the sad one.
Beep bop bo bom.
Yeah.
And if you are listening tonight live on Spreaker, we do appreciate it, of course. Hop on into the chat. Join us in here. We have a lot of fun. Taryn keeps us busy, keeps us entertained, and we try to interact with you as best we can, too.
Well, you were talking about your Blackhawks from the weekend. My Red Wings, I caught a bit of the game against the Ducks, that blowout one. Sorry, Taryn.
Yeah, he's already lamenting that too. Another week of the Ducks not making me happy. Sigh.
Hang in there, buddy.
Yeah, 5-1 in that one on Sunday night. Woof.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at Dad, and we were watching a little bit of that before dinner.
What caught your eye in that game?
Some of the newbies getting goals. Perron and Soderblom. And of course, Larkin. Larkin scored. I mean, he's probably the best player they got, so it's no surprise there.
Yeah. Yeah, another game that caught my attention over the weekend. We'll do this, and then I know you've got some excellent stories that we want to get to, and I don't want to keep you from those. One other game from over the weekend that caught my attention, Saturday. Did you see any of that Blues-Oilers game? Did you see how that went down between St. Louis and Edmonton?
No, I didn't.
St. Louis shut out Edmonton 2-0.
What?
And the second goal, as I'm pulling up the stat sheet to remind myself, yeah, it was an empty netter. The second goal was an empty netter. Jordan Binnington, 23 saves against Edmonton, but he only needed to make 23 saves. That was a full team, max effort kind of game. And it's not like Edmonton played the whole game on the penalty kill either. There were just 2 penalties, one on each team. St. Louis converted its power play. Edmonton did not. That was just solid, all-around good team play. It was an impressive win by St. Louis over the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for as much as we talk about Edmonton and putting up video game numbers and everybody playing good offense, that's incredible.
Yeah, and St. Louis is off to a hot start too. 3-1-0 in their first 4 games. Impressive start from St. Louis to start the season.
Very nice.
All right. And with all of that ado, Zach, I know that you have got some excellent stories prepped and some good feed for us for this week. So where would you like to start? I know you've got some Vegas, some Montreal, and some silliness. Where would you like to start?
Let's go Vegas.
All right, let's go Vegas, because of course we've got Cale Henderson coming up right after us with Sin City Sports, talking all things Las Vegas. So we know that he keeps an eye and an ear on us, and we keep an eye and an ear on him. Perfect segue. Take it away. Tell us about one Philip Kessel.
I should say we'll spin the roulette wheel and see where it lands. And, oh, hey, look, it landed on Vegas.
Oh, let's see if I can do the sound effect. Boing.
I love it. All right, so Vegas plays tonight, actually. Let's see, 10:30. Just had it pulled up here. 1 second. So they're playing tonight at 10:30 at the Sharks. Vegas is 5-2 on the season. San Jose is 2-6. Let's say 6. Wow, holy crap! So that's later tonight. But the momentous occasion for that game is that Phil Kessel has tied the NHL record for consecutive games. He's 35. The record this is his 989th straight NHL game. His streak began on November 3rd, 2009. Many of you know him as a longtime Anaheim Duck. Here you go, Taryn. We're just going to mention the Ducks as much as we can tonight, I guess.
I don't know if Taryn's going to appreciate that tonight or not.
Huh?
I said, I don't know if Taryn's going to appreciate that tonight or not overall.
Well, yeah, true. But back then, he was actually a Leaf on November 3rd, 2009, when that streak started. It ties the record set by Keith Yandle last season that you had brought up last year. He goes for sole possession of the record tonight, the Ironman record, which would be 990 straight NHL games when Vegas plays San Jose later tonight.
And he should. I mean, there's no indication at this point that he's not going to play tonight. So he should make that.
Yeah. Yandle's streak ended on March 29th, 2022 last season. From Kessel, he says, I've played a lot of games, and it's better when you win. Well, no duh.
Everything
if I
is.
If I could do it tomorrow, that'd be great. Kessel appeared to score his first goal as a Golden Knight and the 400th of his career later in the first period during that game. However, it was overturned on an offside call via a Toronto coach's challenge. But less than a minute later, he assisted on Nicholas Roy's power play goal that opened the scoring. Vegas coach Bruce Cassidy on the record. I think they wanted to play well for Phil. I mean, what would be a better script? He scores the first goal, it's his 400th, and he ties the record. It's unfortunate that it didn't stand. Maybe it's setting the stage for tomorrow. Yandle, who retired after last season, shattered Doug Jarvis's NHL record run of 964 consecutive games. That ended in October 1987. As soon as Yandle set the record, many assumed Kessel would be the one to catch him. The winger entered his first season with the Knights, having played 982 straight games. Kessel says, it's a cool thing, obviously. It means I've played a lot of games, right? I don't know. I just try to play no matter what. I've been fortunate over the years. He said there were times that he was worried that his streak could end, Oh, yeah, there's been plenty of those, but we're here now. There's obviously a lot of luck. There are some nights you could have missed throughout the time. The closest he came to having the streak end wasn't actually for an injury. March 8th of this year, Kessel played one 30-second shift against the Red Wings to keep his streak alive before hopping on a charter flight arranged by the Coyotes for the birth of his daughter. Capri married Kessel. He returned to the team 2 days later in Toronto to keep the streak going.
That's very sweet. I appreciate that he chose to put his family first in that situation. That was nice that he was able to get out there for a shift so that the team was willing to work with him. That's just great all around that everybody was able to work with him there, but he was able to be there for the birth of his daughter. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And with the goal being overturned by offsides, I haven't seen the play, so I'd have to go back and really look. But I don't know about you. I feel that rule could use some tweaking a little bit. We don't have time to get into the full discussion, but suffice to say, I wouldn't mind seeing that replay review for offsides be altered a little bit. That, like, if the puck stays alive in the zone for 10, 15 seconds or so after the offsides call would have been missed, then you shouldn't be able to review it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, so I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, we'll have to look it up later. Oh, and Taryn chimes in and says, "We are free to roast the Ducks as much as we want." Roast duck. He'll just sit there and reminisce about 2007.
We're going to roast the duck and have some foie gras, huh?
We need some orange, though, I think, to go with it.
Duck season, wabbit season, duck season, wabbit season.
Elmer Fudd season.
You're right.
But that is excellent that Phil Kessel gets to be the new Iron Man. An excellent player, great professional, just good all-around hockey player. That'll be a very cool moment tonight as they take on the San Jose Sharks. Here, puck drops in roughly an hour, but, that's hockey time. It could be an hour and a half from now, whenever they feel like it.
Right. How's your Photoshop skills? Can you get him in some Iron Man or maybe War Machine armor?
No, you don't want me doing anything with Photoshop. It's all I can do to turn the computer on. Never mind fool around in programs like Photoshop.
Well, I just hear Iron Man. That was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. Even before all the big, huge Marvel movies. So of course that's the first thing my mind goes to. It's Tony Stark and Iron Man.
Oh yeah, which suit would you want him in? Which mark would you want?
Oh man, good question. Probably, I think the coolest one was him when he was like falling out of the Avengers Tower in the first Avengers movie. And the suit came in after him like a missile and just attached itself to him.
Yeah, that Mark III suit was pretty cool. That's a solid choice. Oh, yeah. So Phil Kessel in the Iron Man Mark III suit. I like it. We'll get somebody working on that for us. Well, speaking of suits then, I know that you were having a blast earlier today looking at the reviews of some of the new retro sweaters that the NHL is going to be debuting later this season. How about you tell us about some of those, Zach?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. So on ESPN.com, Greg Wyshynski, he ranked all 32 NHL reverse retro jerseys for this season from best to worst. He says the NHL's reverse retro jerseys were a sensation 2 years ago, creating significant sales and conversation among hockey fans. Adidas felt the pressure of creating a sequel to that blockbuster with its 22-23 season retro sweaters. Quote, how many amazing remix combinations are out there, said Dan Neer, senior director at Adidas Hockey. We spent a lot of time debating about whether the franchise should evolve into something else or if this is a sequel. We went with the latter. As with any sequel, there are a few differences from the original. The 32 new reverse retro jerseys feature more white sweaters than the 2020 collection. Please recall that because of the COVID pandemic, the 2021 season was played without interdivisional games. Now Adidas hopes to see more retro versus retro games, such as the Pittsburgh Penguins versus Buffalo Sabres game on November 2nd. The line also features more embroidered and raised elements on the team logos, which is something that arrived when Adidas started making jerseys with 50% recycled materials. Another big difference was the level of anticipation. Neer said that Adidas is aware of all the speculation, mock-ups, and social media scuttlebutt about this collection of jerseys. Quote, we're excited about this speculation. I think if you look back at the first time we launched it in 2020, it came out of nowhere. Nobody knew what it was. We didn't announce it was coming back this time, but people seemed to know it was coming. The rampant speculation and energy is making this unique and exciting. We track it. We see what people are saying. Sometimes they're right on the mark. Other times, they're on a completely different planet. Nothing is official until it's official. But it wasn't just the fans anticipating the next wave of reverse retro jerseys. The NHL teams were as well. Quote, there's plenty of meat on the bone to do this again, said Neer. What made it unique the second time around is that you have teams thinking, I want to win reverse retro. Well, which ones were victorious? Here's our ranking of all 32 reverse retro jerseys for the 2022-23 season. Keep in mind that we based this just on the jerseys themselves. Some really cool elements will be revealed with the full uniform kits, but they didn't factor in here. Have you seen any of these, Adam?
I'm looking at them now, all for the first time. Short of I had seen Detroit and I had seen Chicago. Other than that, this is the first time I'm seeing any of them. There are some really neat ones in here. There's some god-awful, hideous, I can't believe someone was paid to create this in here. Wow. I mean, there's the full gambit on some of these. Do you want to start with the ones you like, or do you want to start with the ones you don't like?
I'll start with the ones I like, but first I want to get your take on who you think went number one.
Well, it's not fair because I've actually got the list up.
Oh, well, okay.
So sorry. That's how I'm seeing all of them, as I'm seeing the list.
That's okay. All right. Florida Panthers went number one. What a concept. It's only taken nearly 30 years, but a team that plays in South Florida finally has a jersey that's evocative of South Florida. It's a mix of the team's stick and palm secondary logo that's been with it since the 1990s, and the light blue from the third jerseys that it rocked in 2009. The rays of sun are slightly raised to give a crest a 3D quality. The colors on the stripes pay homage to the Panthers' current primary colors. The rest feels like you're staring at a frozen blue Hawaiian through a pair of expensive sunglasses. Sure, seeing the alternate logo makes one realize how close that hockey stick looks to a golf putter. But that's also kind of thematic to the franchise, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I actually hadn't noticed that about it until you said something just there. That is sharp looking. That is a fantastic looking sweater. And he's absolutely right. It's hockey in Florida. Hockey in Florida is just inherently I don't want to say weird, but you don't automatically go, oh, sure, of course, we'll go to Florida and play hockey. So they embrace that. I mean, there's a palm tree right there in the middle of it. That's fantastic. I love that. I understand why it's their secondary logo, because they're the Panthers, and what's the thing that's missing from the logo? A panther. So I get why it's not their primary logo, but that is sharp.
Yeah. So when they introduced the whole series, they said it's the jersey collection that remixes the past while creating the future.
Well, they can call it whatever they want. That's great. That looks clean, sharp. A+ Florida. A+.
Yeah. All right. So number 5, Colorado. They're using 1995 as their inspiration. The Avalanche topped the 2020 rankings with their ode to the Quebec Nordiques. Did you see that?
It's been a while.
The one from 2 years ago, actually, they threw in the Quebec Nordiques logo on the front. They had Fleur de Lis on the bottom and on the hem of it. And then they remixed it all in Colorado Avalanche colors, because that's Quebec City's franchise became Colorado.
Okay. See, I'm looking at this now from Colorado. I don't like it.
Well, I'm actually, I know a lot of franchises have moved, but I guess I hadn't remembered that part. So for them to reference that jersey 2 years ago, I actually like the one from 2 years ago better than I like the current one.
Yeah, this one, you've got the Red Sea with an orange ball in the middle of it. It looks too much like Pac-Man. And then with the blue, with the orange red stripes and the blue right at the shoulders, it reminds me of Captain Picard's Star Trek. Like the dress uniforms kind of a thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't like that one. That one, yeah. I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of that one for Colorado.
Yeah. Well, here a little more on the one from 2 years ago then. So, the Avalanche have tried to remain connected to their Quebecois roots since relocating to Denver in '95. But this is the most overt use of the Nordiques iconography in franchise history. Quebec's igloo logo and their Fleur de Lis trim are remixed with Colorado's maroon and blue. The team was pretty receptive to the concept up front, but it wasn't the only idea. But it might have been the only one we showed them. Said this same guy, Neer, from Adidas. He said with a laugh because we wanted it so bad. Here, guys, this is the only idea we have.
Yeah.
And you can't choose anything else because we want this one. Adidas spoke with the Canadians regarding how this jersey might be received in Quebec. We do have some market information, and as far as demand and enthusiasm, there are definitely people out there who believe that the Colorado jersey will be very popular north of the border. I don't know if I can source that to the province of Quebec. Intuitively, I would, but I don't have the data to prove that, he said. Some might see this as blasphemy. We see it as a clean, striking tribute to the franchise's past and the most successful blending of old and new among these 31 jerseys at that point.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Vegas was number 6. They're taking their inspiration from 1995. Okay. Well, the one from 2 years ago, it was inspired by the now defunct Wranglers minor league franchise. This time they're inspired by a team that didn't exist, or that doesn't exist. The sweater, quote, imagines what the Golden Knights third jersey might have looked like in 1995. The fonts and numbering are inspired by vintage hotel signage on the strip. Oh, and just to make sure you get the whole Vegas ostentatiousness, they're ready for this.
Go ahead.
There are hidden glow-in-the-dark stars incorporated in the crest that can be seen in the dark and under a black light.
Oh! Okay. You sold me. You don't need to tell me about any of the other sweaters. They win. You've got glow-in-the-dark on the sweater. Hell yes!
Can we get a slow clap for them?
Oh! Just... Where's the... I never use the sound effects on here. This deserves... Where's the applause? Give me the longest applause they've got. And I know that we don't need to tell Vegas this, but when they wear these, when they score a goal, you know they've got to drop the lights, so that's what you see. Every time they score a goal that night, they got to incorporate that in somehow. That's outstanding.
I know. The guy Guidita says, when you think about the glitz and glamour of Vegas, it requires a little ingenuity.
Oh, yes, it does. Oh, man, I don't even need to comment anymore on that one. All right, I have to bring up one here, and then I'm looking at the time, and we should move on to studs and duds so that we're out of here on time for Sin City. I do want to, as I'm looking through these, I do want to congratulate Boston for choosing to use a bear as their logo, because I imagine most people don't know what a Bruin is. So now they actually know that it's a bear. So I want to congratulate Boston for that. But Edmonton, what the hell is that? As I'm looking at this thing, so to describe a little bit for people who haven't seen this, I don't have words. Okay. It's supposed to be, since they're the Oilers, it's supposed to be some kind of ode to drilling. But what it looks like is a spaceship. It looks like a speeder getting ready to take off and go somewhere. I don't get that at all. Who signed off on this? And who thought that was a good idea? That looks terrible. I can't get around that one for Edmonton. That one's got to be one of the worst in the bunch that I've seen. I mean, you've got a lot of boring ones in here where it's just like, oh, look, that's the same sweater you've been wearing for 70 years. You just made something smaller or bigger. You know, you didn't really change it. You kind of missed the assignment, you know, looking at you, Toronto and Calgary and Philly, you know, where it's just,
right.
oh.
A blue Maple Leaf jersey. Wild stuff.
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. Let's not. Yeah. Let's not go crazy here, Toronto.
Yeah.
They might riot or something.
For the Kraken, what's nostalgic for Kraken jersey? A Mark Giordano sweater? Chicago, the Blackhawks jersey had the unfortunate timing of being immediately market corrected by a similar but much better executed Red Wings reverse retro. What up?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Blackhawks and the Red Wings, it looks like they just copied homework off of each other. That's the exact same thing it might even be, as I'm scrolling through. Yeah, of course, the Hawks is red, white, and black. That makes sense. Why is the Detroit one red and black? They don't feature black anywhere in their uniform. Why is Detroit using black?
I don't know.
I mean, it looks sharp, sure. Red and black look good together. I'm not a fan of horizontal stripes everywhere. I mean, it's like the Steelers bumblebee jerseys that they wear.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
But, yeah, for me, both of those, it's like, no. You could have done so much more. So much more. You've got 100 years of history to pull from there, and that's what you chose. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you talk about people using the same jersey practically, the Philadelphia one, and it's I love their description. I don't want my guys looking like an effing crayon box. I don't want them wearing a bunch of Uzis and what's it. Just make a Flyers jersey. Who cares? Concord Gorilla, maybe.
Yeah. No kidding. I mean, it's white with the Flyers logo in the middle. Done. Yeah. There you go.
And the Calgary Flames one, like you said, doesn't look any different, except they said, you ever seen a movie where one bad performance ruins the whole thing? The Flames have a cool black jersey with an iconic logo and an eye-catching color scheme. But then they also decided to bring back the truly bizarre diagonal pedestal hem stripe from their mid-90s sweaters. It just ruins the whole thing and makes it look as if the Flames are wearing an achievement belt from some strip mall taekwondo academy.
Yeah, I mean, okay. If you're going to use that, it looks like a sash, but only the bottom half of the sash. If you're going to wear a sash, wear a sash. Have it be the whole thing, not just, well, we didn't want to cover the C. Okay, fine, put the C on top of it then, but who wears half a sash? And why? It's just there.
Dumbest one on here, I think.
Oh yeah, that one's rough. That one is rough. All right, so Zach, give us your studs or duds for this week.
Yes, sir. Well, we kind of touched on some of them. My studs, Red Wings, of course. Perron and Soderblom both scored in the Red Wings 5-1 romp over the Ducks. Sorry, Karen. Then the Oilers doing Oiler things, not in the game that you referenced against St. Louis, but they beat Pittsburgh 6-3 behind goals from Evander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, as well as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And then Alex Ovechkin, he netted his 783rd goal as Washington tops New Jersey 6-3. He only needs 4 more goals to pass Gordie Howe.
Woof. He's getting there.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right. Well, I've got an honorable mention, first of all, before we get too far with my studs. I do want to give an honorable mention shout out to the crew at the United Center. Of course, the Blackhawks play there, and they're playing there right now. But the Chicago Bulls in the NBA also play there. They have been alternating nights every night since Friday, and they're going to continue to do that throughout this week. So the Blackhawks had their home opener Friday, then the Bulls had a game Saturday. Blackhawks played Sunday, Bulls had a home game last night. Hawks are playing tonight. The Bulls have another game tomorrow that they're playing at home. Ice, hardwood, and no problems with either surface for either team. So kudos to the staff and crew over there at United Center. Honorable mention stud from me this week. Some other studs, couple of rookies, both from Montreal. We're gonna start first with what might be the coolest nickname in the NHL, Arber Xhekaj. He's from Albania. He scored his first NHL goal on Saturday. Xhekaj, you think, oh, that doesn't sound too hard to pronounce. Yes, but it's spelled Xhekaj. That looks just like Xhekaj, doesn't it? His teammates have had... Yeah. His teammates have had trouble pronouncing it and remembering how to pronounce it too. So in great hockey tradition, they have given him a nickname. Arber Xhekaj's nickname? Wi-Fi. The thinking behind it? Well, his last name looks like the random assortment of letters thrown together on your internet, your wireless internet router to create a password. So that's what they've gone with. Arber Wi-Fi Xhekaj. You are one of my studs of the week. Also, he darn near killed an Arizona Coyote during a fight in a game last week. Had to just mention that. So not only did he score a goal, he also is not somebody you want to get into a fight with on the ice either. Another stud for me from also from Montreal, another rookie making waves. I want to make sure that I pull up the correct box score here as I'm getting the right games pulled up. There it was. This is the Canadiens' 6-2 win over Arizona last Thursday. You had the number 4 overall pick in the NHL draft. Slavaski scored his first NHL goal. Juraj Slavkovsky scored his first goal. And the 18-year-old, he's got some swagger behind it. He scored the goal and immediately began mouthing off to one of the Arizona Coyote defenders. So certainly some swagger there with the 18-year-old. Now we'll see what that'll lead to for future things for him. He may wind up eating some of that, but Slavkovsky is one of my studs of the week. And then finally, he's not a rookie, but wow, what a start he's having. Rasmus Dahlin of Buffalo is the first defenseman in NHL history to start the season by scoring a goal in 5 straight games.
Nice.
So Rasmus Dahlin rounds out my studs of the week.
Nice. It's funny that you brought up the Montreal half meeting of Arizona.
Yes, it was a whooping.
Yeah, woodshedding for sure. But it's funny because I had to do a double take because that's one of my duds. Except I was like, wait, did he say the wrong Canadian team's name in there? But then I went and looked. Back-to-back games, Thursday and Saturday. Thursday at Montreal, they lost 6-2. Saturday at Ottawa, they lost 6-2. The Coyotes did. So, yeah, they get my dud of the week for getting destroyed 6-2 by the Ottawa Senators for the Ottawa Senators' third straight win. Brady Tkachuk scored twice. That dropped Arizona to a 1-4 record. Now 2-4 because they did have a bright spot tonight. They were leading Columbus 5-1, and they wound up winning that 6-3.
Yeah, so they rebounded A little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Columbus scored 2 quick goals in quick succession just while our show's been on.
Woo!
Lastly, I have Vancouver. They're still winless on the season. They're 0-5-2. They're next up against Seattle on Thursday. And they've been taken to the woodshed as well. 5-3 versus Edmonton, 6-4 loss to Washington, 5-1 loss to Buffalo, and 2 heartbreakers, 4-3 in overtime, both games, both losses to Columbus and Minnesota. 2 other, expansion franchises.
Yeah. Vancouver was also on my dud list, so we've got our first crossover there. Yeah, Vancouver 0-5-2 to start the year. Just 2 points in 7 games. Yuck. A rough start for the Vancouver Canucks. And then my other one, he ruined it. My other one was Patrick Kane, because he hadn't scored a goal yet on the season. Just 3 points, 3 assists is all Patrick Kane has had through 5 games to start the season. And then he scores a goal in the first period tonight to end that. So, Patrick Kane, you're still going to be on my dud list, but clearly you're working yourself off of it. All right.
It's kind of one of these, you're like, no.
Indeed.
How dare you do better?
How dare you do better, Patrick Kane? You couldn't have waited till I at least finished the segment. Gah. All right, that sounds the horn on the show and on the segment. Thank you to Larry B. for all of your hard work behind the scenes at the station, sir. It is noticed and appreciated. Thank you to Taryn for hanging out with us in the chat room tonight. We appreciate that. Thank you to our Patreon supporters, Emlos Great, Key to the Gate, Barrier Raised, and Anonymous. Thank you for your continued support of not only this show, but all the shows on IE Sports Radio. We really do appreciate it. Follow along with all of us on social media at IE Sports Radio, at IESR Neutral Zone. Zach is at The Pumpless. I am at Adam_Karnick. For Zach Puplis, I am Adam Kernick. Thank you for hanging out and listening with us as we go through this week, everything in the NHL and all kinds of other stuff, all kinds of avenues we wind up in on this show. We get there we might not take a straight road, but by golly, we get to the end when it gets time. All right, until next week, stay out of the penalty box, everybody. We will see you next time for episode 50. We'll talk to you then.